Welcome to Take the Stage Voice Studio. My name is Evan Dunn. I'm a baritone and a singer just like you. And I just love talking about voice technique, talking about opera, talking about theater. I'm also an actor. And while I'm out walking, I just thought I would try a new video format to talk with all of you guys and about some things that I've been thinking as I've been teaching and working with my students. So, in singing, we are, for good reason, always interested in tension. We don't want to be using excess tension. We don't want a tense tongue or a tense jaw and all of those things that we talk about all the time. And so this is such an important topic to talk about because our voice can be free, it can be released, it can be comfortable and easy if we are full of tension. So with that being said, I don't know if this is a hot take, but it kind of feels like a hot take to me from students who come to me and people that I talk to. But here's my hot take for the day. I think that we've gotten to be too afraid of tension. And we've forgotten that singing is primarily a muscular action. And yes, I know. As I've already said, we don't want to cause pushing sound by having too much tension. We don't want to injure the voice, we don't want to injure the jaw or injure the vocal cords, heaven forbid. And all of those things, I 100% sympathize with that. But let me just talk a little bit more about why I think that we are too afraid of tension. I have been, for years, I've been working on swimming. And I like doing lots of types of physical activities, but one of the things I've been thinking about is swimming, and I'm not a good swimmer. But I go to the pool and I watch YouTube videos, and sometimes I'll ask people for some tips, and over the last decade or so I've gotten to be fairly comfortable with swimming. I could swim a half mile, I could probably do a mile if I wanted to, and I like swimming. Okay, so just last week I was kind of working on a technique, just refining my technique. And I realized that I was kind of crossing my hand in front of my body, and I read and saw some videos where they're talking about that that's not an efficient motion. So they recommended keeping your arm like this, where you reach straight ahead and then pulling back. And I was kind of working on this new coordination, okay? I know this isn't a swimming video, just hear me out. And so I got in the pool and I was excited to try this new thing. And I realized that I couldn't swim as far. My arms were tired. My arms felt uncoordinated and kind of clunky doing this. And maybe I was going faster. I don't really keep track of my speed or my times. I just more swim for the technique and for the exercise of it. So that just shows you how not good of a swimmer I am. But as I'm doing this, I realized that this is very similar in a lot of ways to singing. When we're singing, we obviously have to engage some muscles, okay? The tongue doesn't move, the jaw doesn't move, the breath doesn't move unless some muscles are working. And I think that we understand that. But we're so obsessed with relax, that especially, you know, a new singer comes in and we emphasize relaxing so much, and we don't emphasize how to build muscle enough. And so singers end up with, you know, some deficiencies in their muscular capacity. So maybe, for example, it could be that their registers aren't strong, so their full chest voice isn't developed, or their full head voice, or, you know, the breath muscles aren't strong enough, so they end up with a wobble in their vibrato. And there's all of these, you know, even with the tongue. I mentioned we kind of get obsessed with, I'm going to turn around back this way. We mentioned the tongue tension, but if the tongue isn't strong and efficient, coordinated, going where it needs to go, then the tongue will end up adding tension of its own to try to sing a clear vowel, even if your tongue isn't in the right spot to sing a clear vowel. So a lot of the dreaded tongue tension that we talk about comes from undertraining the tongue to be where it needs to be, and to move where it needs to move, and to be efficient, coordinated, and be able to do it easily, right? You know, like, we don't want a tense tongue, the type of tongue that pushes on the larynx or pulls on the larynx or closes the throat. We need the type of really easy, fluid coordination in the tongue. And that takes months and months and years of hard muscular type of work that singers are kind of afraid of. Okay, we've been conditioned to be afraid of injuring our voice. Okay, so imagine if you went to a swim training and the coach was just like, relax, relax, relax. It should feel easy. I don't know if you ever heard that in a singing lesson. It should feel so easy. And you should be able to just do it for hours. If you can't just automatically sing for hours, then that means you have a bad technique. Okay, so sometimes I compare this to like the 1 pound weight at the gym. If you have a 1 pound weight, you could probably do bicep curls for an hour if you needed to. I don't know, never tried it. But the point being that if you don't really develop the full muscle because you're not using it fully, then yeah, you might be able to go longer, but you're not going to be able to meet the demands of operatic singing. You're not going to be able to sing with a full chiaroscuro squillo resonance that goes from top to bottom, with core that projects so that you can be heard over a whole orchestra in the house, and you're going to end up with pushing issues, and you're going to end up with all of these different things because you're not muscularly ready to sing the demanding repertoire in the demanding situations that we're placed in, right? So yeah, sometimes I have singers who come in and we'll start kind of working on some muscles, and they get a little nervous, and it's like, oh, my voice feels a little tired, and I just don't know if this could this be bad technique? Does this mean that I'm screaming? Does it mean that I'm pushing? And this is where it's so important that when you're developing your voice, you're doing it with a really well-trained teacher who knows how to train the voice from the beginning to the end, you know? Because if you know that at the end of a singer's journey, you want it to feel easy, you want it to feel free, that's not the right advice to give to singers at the beginning of their journey or anytime they're learning a new muscular action, okay? There's so many years of training your voice where it does not feel easy, where it feels hard, where it can feel tiring, where you have to build up the muscular strength so that eventually you can have efficiency, coordination, release, and just feel like everything is freer and easier, okay? So if you have to know that whole journey, you have to know how to teach your students that the whole entire journey. You can't just know, oh, it's got to be free and easy, and then, you know, tell them relax, 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 okay? So you've got to have a trained teacher who can help you along this process, because it is true that in the singing process, you can injure your voice, you know? That can happen in any sport, in swimming, in running, in gymnastics. Gymnastics is my absolute favorite sport. And gymnasts have overuse injuries, and they have injuries from training things too quickly, too young. They have lots of different types of injuries, okay? But if you want to train like Simone Biles, can you imagine trying to tell somebody, relax, don't run so hard, no, you don't jump so high. We gotta just relax, make it easy, make it light. All of these different things. Can you imagine if somebody said that in gymnastics or swimming or sprinting? You know, there's so much hard work that goes into it, but you want to do it in a safe environment where you know when to rest, when things get tired. And I mean, even before that, you know what muscles need to be engaged and how to engage them in the appropriate way to start with, right? So you're working on the right muscles. You are doing it in a safe way where you rest when you need to. You have somebody there to be like, no, stop, you're pushing in this way, we need to do this different thing. But there's got to be muscular strength built into the voice if you want to sing like some of your favorite opera singers, and certainly some of mine, where they have core in their voice from top to bottom, and it's exciting, and I just love that stuff. So yeah, that's how I train my students, and it can be a little disconcerting. I mentioned earlier, it can be disconcerting for them if they think, oh, but this is supposed to feel easy, right? And you know, I do have students who come in and they say, oh, this feels way easier than what I was doing before, especially if they were kind of taught to push, or they were kind of taught to a lot of extra constrictions. I'd say the majority of my students come to me and they say, oh, I mean, this feels a little more tiring than I would expect. And oh, as I'm working on the tongue, my jaw feels a little tired, and we rest. We make sure to take care of no jaw injuries. We don't want that. But my tongue has to learn how to do this action, and my lips are learning this action, and my jaw. And I mean, it's a lot. And oh, after I sing for, you know, at the very beginning, after I sing for 20 minutes, my voice feels tired, and I didn't expect that. And I'm like, yeah, we're not using the 1 pound weight. We're also not using a 100-pound weight yet, but we're using a 20-pound weight. And it's gonna be a little bit more tiring. And then we're going to build, I love the words efficient, coordinated release. We're gonna build all the muscular action that you need. But we're going to do it in a safe way. And that's how we do it. And my students gain strength, and then eventually they have stamina. And so like if you watch an Olympic swimmer, they can jump into the pool, and then with one stroke of the arm, they like can propel themselves halfway down the pool. Every action is so efficient that it's like they're not pushing back on the water, they're not losing any ground, they're just pulling and pushing the water behind them, and then it just propels them forward. And I am not that type of swimmer. I use my arm and I go like 3 centimeters. But over time, you use that strength to build efficiency, and then after you've got some efficiency, then you build the stamina to be able to swim hundreds of meters, 1,000 meters, 1,600 meters if you're Katie Ledecky, and always doing it with this efficient, strong, coordinated musculature. And the same thing goes for swimming. Oh my gosh, I love these streams. And this tree house. It's my favorite part of my walk. I walk by it every day when I'm dropping the kids off at school and picking them up. It's the best. Yeah, so we spend all that time to be able to have strength and efficiency and then stamina. So we can sing the phrase, then we can sing the aria with the high note at the end, and then we can sing the roll. And then we can sing the roll repeatedly with rehearsals and you know, building up all the strength to do all the things that you want to do in your singing. So I'd encourage you to kind of think about this. Is your training helping you to be strong, or are we kind of hiding from the work that needs to be done, avoiding all of the muscular engagement that needs to happen to have a strong voice? You know, it's really easy to just listen to Corelli or Birgit Nilsson, and it's just like, oh, they're just a freak of nature. And I'm not saying they're not born with maybe some differences in their physiology. I'm not a physiologist. I'm just saying that I don't know what those differences could be, but I'm telling you, they're pumping out sound. You know, they're pumping out core, and it's because they're strong. They're strong because they have trained to be super strong, efficient, coordinated, and to have stamina. And that's what makes them so exciting. So thank you for kind of going on my walk today. I am so glad that we could do this. And if you like this type of video, let me know what you think. And if you hate this type of video, let me know what you think. You can comment, or I love getting emails or questions. So reach out and let me know what you think. And in this type of video, you know, I am not using sounds to demonstrate, so I'm just using my words. And it's always tricky with words, right? Because I could use the same word as 10 other teachers, but mean different things by it. And even my students can hear words and interpret it in 100 different ways. So there's no way to adequately express what needs to happen in singing just with words. There's tons of nuance and different ways to take all the things that we say. But I also think that this format gives me a chance to just talk a little deeper than I can in some of my videos where I have just little blurbs, you know. So I think it's a fun format, and we'll experiment with it and just see if this is fun. So check out my website, evandunn.com. Let me know if you have questions, or if you're interested in doing some work like this and seeing what it feels like, and adding it to part of what you do for your own voice. And just remember, as you go forward, I really mean this, that the world needs your voice, and every voice is worthy to sing. Every voice is worthy to express what you have and what you love about singing. So go out and take the stage. Even if you have things that you want to learn in your voice to get stronger, we all do. That's kind of the point. That's the exciting thing about what we do. So, I mean it. Take the stage, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.